Hey, this is Joe Hubbard from JoeHubbardBassVideos.com, and this is the fourth lesson in my Pentapositional System Chord Studies course. And in this particular lesson, we're going to take a look at the minor 7 flat 5 chord. So by investigating the minor 7 flat 5 chord, we're going to immediately discover the similarities that it has between the other chords, in that on the 5 string, it's going to start on the root position. So if I go down to my root position and I play the 1, the flat 3, the flat 5, flat 7, the 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, and then I play this back down. I then go to the next form in the sequence, which is going to be flat 3. So from my flat 3 position, I'm going to shift up. This is a little unorthodox in its fingering, and it's probably going to be a little bit weird for some of you guys to get used to, but it goes hand in hand with the chord itself. With just that one alteration of the natural 5 moving down to the flat 5, this chord proves to be quite a hard chord to hear. So from the flat 3 position, I've got flat 3, flat 5, my flat 7, my root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, and then back to my root. I'm then going to play that back down to the flat 3. We now move to the next position, and this is the flat 5, and this is where the duplication occurs with the minor 7 flat 5. Remember, we sort of mentioned it in another lesson where if the chord itself has a lowered third, the alteration, or the duplication that is, will be on the 5th. So if I have my flat 5 position here, I go flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, and then I play that back down. So the duplication position of the flat 5 is going to go like this. I've got my flat 5, my flat 7, my root, my flat 3, my flat 5, my flat 7, my root, my flat 3, and then my flat 5. And then I'm going to play that back down. Okay, so for my flat 5 position, I'm going to move right on up to my flat 7 position, and that gives me flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, little downshift to the root here, flat 3, my flat 5 here, and then I articulate that back down to the flat 7. Okay, moving on up sequentially, I'm going to end up on my root 8 VA position. And again, that contains the root, the flat 3, the flat 5, the flat 7, the root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. And make sure when you're going through these that you do articulate that mentally, so you understand what the root, the flat 3, the flat 5, the flat 7 actually is within each key that you're doing, and also within all the various different chord forms that you're doing as you move sequentially up the fretboard. Okay, now you try it. So taking this one step further now, what we're going to do is apply the ascending-descending drill in each single position, and that would go something like this. With this concept one step further, what I'm going to start to do is take it through the different keys. So what I'm going to do is start with the key of F, and I'm going to go through every position so you can see how this works with a minor 7 flat 5. what we're going to immediately figure out is that the starting form is on the flat 5 second variation, because my lowest diatonic note is a B or a C flat. That's the flat 5 of F. So I now go flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, and then I just play that back down. From the flat 5 second variation, it moves up to flat 7. So I'm going to move on up to the next position, and here I have my flat 7, my root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, a little bit of a downshift, root, flat 3, flat 5, and then articulate that back down to the flat 7. I'm then going to move up to my root position. I've got root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, and then step back down to the root. I then move up to my flat 3. So remember, your flat 3 shifts up with the first finger, and I do this pattern here all the way up. Okay, that's my flat 3 position. Then I go up to the flat 5 position, first variation, and it goes flat 5, flat 7, the root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, the root, and then the flat 3, and then I move back down. I then, now an octave above my starting position, which was flat 5 second variation, so I'm here, flat 5, flat 7, my root, my flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, and then all the way back down to the bottom. Okay, practice. So by simply reapplying the same principle to all the keys, the main ingredient that we have to get together is knowing the starting form in each key. Remember, I started on C and I had the root position. If I then went to the key of F, I had flat 5. Remember, that starts on the low B or C flat. Okay, then the key of B flat is going to start on flat 3. Okay, then on to the key of E flat, and that's going to be flat 7. Remember, with each key, I want you to step through what the actual relationship of the note is. So I'd go flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, and then also the names of the notes. So I go D flat, E flat, G flat. I go here. Now, sometimes, you know, technically this note is going to be called a B double flat. You don't necessarily have to always refer to it as that, but I guess it's good to know that technicality. Really understanding it on the fly, the way that most people look at that on a E flat minor 7 flat 5 would just look at that as an A that would convert it. But they'd understand the theoretical concepts. In other words, they'd understand that technical correctiveness that kind of needs to be learned if you're just learning this for the first time. Okay, so I would go D flat, E flat, G flat. I'd call that an A. Okay, I'd know it was the flat 5. I would know the 5 in relation to E flat was a B flat, therefore it was really called a B double flat. But it's easier for me to think on the fly by calling that an A and knowing the actual foundational information that precedes that. So D flat, E flat, G flat, A, D flat, E flat, G flat, A. And I've got to know how that relates and also understand the chord tones that those notes are attached to. Okay, so then moving right along, the next key that we're going to have is the key of A flat, and in A flat I'm going to have the flat 5 first variation. So I've got this here. Again, I've got flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 3, and then it plays back down to the flat 5. Now I've gone through my 5 keys, so I'm back to the key of D flat, and I'm back to my root position. Okay, so the key of F sharp is going to be my flat 5 second variation. So I'm going to start down here on the low C. Okay, then I go to the key of B. That's going to give me flat 3. Okay, the key of E is going to give me flat 7. Okay, the key of A is going to give me flat 5 first variation. Okay, I've gone through another 5 keys, so I'm back to the root position now on D. And then I finish this off with the key of G, and that's flat 5 second variation. Okay, now the next step, what we're going to do is start to apply the melodic filter. So what I want to do is take each one of the forms, and I want to play them ascending and then descending, and then I want to go ascending, descending between each successive form. So I'll ascend up one form, descend down the next, and so forth. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the descending, ascending concept, where I descend down one form and then ascend back up the next. So the ascending filter would be like this. Would look something like this. The ascending-descending filter goes like this. Ascending filter is going to look something like this. Fourth lesson of my pentapositional system chord studies course, which is all about the minor 7 flat 5 chord. these exercises are going to prove to be as much as an ear training exercise as a playing exercise and a technical studies exercise for you guys. So really get into this and listen closely. Just understanding that flat 5 on the minor 7 flat 5 chord, that sound which is characteristic as a 2 minor 7 flat 5 chord in a minor key. You really need to be able to hear that sound, and these exercises are going to get you there, because by the time you're finished with this, it'll be starting to ingrain into your subconscious vocabulary. Now what I want you to do is go over to the lesson lounge and check out some of the individual lessons and drills that I've got over there, because I outline a lot of similar things there, so you can immediately take what you've learned with the pentapositional system and then get some different exercises that are actually applying this concept over a tune, and this will start to really help you a lot. Again, you know, you've got to be interested in music and motivated to the things that you like to listen to kind of always take it to the next step. If you're not listening to anything, or if you don't really like music, you got to question why you'd be doing something like this. So the deal is you know, make sure that you're applying these concepts across the board. That's the key. Always hitting it from a different angle perceptually within your practice time. Okay, so as always, what I want you to do is practice smart. I want you to play creatively, and I'll see you the next time. Take care.